Welcome, everyone, to the 15-minute Time Limit Podcast, our 2017 year in review. I am your host, the Phenomenal AJ. I was thinking of doing just a numbered list of 15 down to my top moment of the year, but I don't know, I'm just going to scrap that in no particular order. Just share my thoughts and opinions with you on my highlights of the year in professional wrestling, mostly surrounded, obviously, around the big one, the WWE. My first highlight I'd like to talk about Goldberg winning the Universal Championship from Kevin Owens just to drop it to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. I don't know how I felt about that. You could have done Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar at Mania without the strap. I mean, you need to build new stars, and that's what this wrestling business is all about, constantly building new stars. And you kind of buried Kevin Owens there for the sake of Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg for a championship. You didn't really need to go down that road. I mean, Kevin Owens versus Jericho could have been a main event match at this year's WrestleMania for the Universal Championship, rather than, I think, the second match on the card for the United States Championship it ended up being. But that angle with Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, probably one of my favorites from the year. Some of Jericho's best work I think he's done probably since he debuted in the then WWF. So it was still good to see how that feud ended, but I would have preferred them to be fighting for the Universal title rather than the United States Championship. I mean, Goldberg did not really need that title run. We get it. He's a legend. He's still in good shape. He still can go. So can Lesnar. I mean, Lesnar's a whole nother level, though, and a whole nother different discussion for another day. But I just think that Goldberg coming back was cool. Did he need the title? I don't think so. And following that, we have I have here Randy Orton winning the strap from Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania and thus burying Bray. I just don't get it. Randy Orton did not need to win last year's Royal Rumble. He did not need to bury Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. It was completely unnecessary. I think Bray could have had a longer run with the title. It's what his character needed. I mean, he's trying to be this new sort of demonic, kind of like the new Deadman character, and it works. But when he's losing all his big matches, it kind of doesn't work. So when he won the title, we all loved it. I mean, the crowd was chanting, "You deserve it," the night after, and he did, and he still does. But for Randy Orton to win the Rumble and then bury Bray at Mania, and the whole match was weird too, with the images of the worms and the maggots coming up on the screen. I just didn't get it. It had no place in that match, or a match that was supposed to be of a high caliber. I mean, that was not good. The feud is, these guys got a feud with they have to feud. I mean, that's the whole point of storytelling. But I just thought that angle could have also ended up differently. Bray should have won that angle. He should have came out of Mania with the title, drop it after Mania. It doesn't matter. But he won the belt and didn't even have a matchup where he defended it. Like, I don't know. It just ended up bad for Bray's character, I find. And that was a sore spot for a Bray Wyatt fan. I mean, I like him. He's very talented. His promos are excellent. His matches are pretty good. And look at his WrestleMania record now. He lost to Randy Orton. He lost to The Undertaker, which is probably a given. And then his debut Mania match against John Cena. He should have gone over then too, but he didn't. So I don't understand why you have this strong character. He does excellent promos, great matches. But yet, at the end of the day, he's always losing his big matches. I just don't get it. Randy Orton did not need. You had WrestleMania. You had an unnecessary Universal Champion going into the card, and then you had an unnecessary WWE champion coming out of the card. That was my thoughts on Randy Orton's Bray Wyatt's matchup and ultimate conclusion to their feud. I didn't like it too much. It was not needed for Randy Orton to win the belt at Mania from Bray. So my next highlight here I'd like to talk about, I've kind of touched on it already, with Kevin Owens, probably one of my superstars of the year. His ultimate feud, but his storyline with Chris Jericho and now currently Sami Zayn. It's kind of like the same vibe I'm getting with the whole friendship, but that whole storyline in the beginning with Y2J and the Festival of Friendship and their demise was entertaining. It couldn't have ended better as well, with the younger superstar getting the win, the big win at Mania over the older superstar, which is, as I said earlier, needed because you always got to create and constantly create new superstars for the fans and the audience to like and admire and relate to, and they did that excellently with Kevin Owens and Y2J. I don't know where the Sami Zayn and Owens feud will end up, or feud. It'll probably end up in a feud, but that whole storyline, I just don't know who's going to turn on who and whatnot and who goes over, but it's just Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens right now, kind of like a Kevin Owens and Y2J redo, but it's entertaining. I mean, the yep movement, it's pretty hilarious. The Festival of Friendship from Raw, equally as hilarious. I mean, it's great stuff. I enjoy watching it, and Kevin Owens probably the best worker on the roster this year. Kevin Owens will, I believe, eventually have another title run, major title run, WWE or Universal title. But one of the surprises of the year is also one of my favorite highlights, the championship, the unpredictable championship run of Jinder Mahal. Oh my goodness, it came out of nowhere and it was fantastic. I mean, it was in the beginning, it was kind of very reminiscent to me of when JBL won the title years ago. Who saw that coming? And JBL was one of the longest reigning WWE champions of his time. And it was good. He had a great title run. But Jinder Mahal, from where his character was before in 3MB and the whole jobbing of his recent career up until now, they really did a 180 with his character. He whether you agree with it or not, he retained the title for most of the year. And now he's in the United States title tournament, which I do hope he wins because his character he's a strong heel. Let's face it, he's a strong heel. He comes out, we all boo him, we all hate him. But it's good because you need the strong heels to win sometimes, most of the time. And it's his character, the evolution of his character has been good to watch. I'm happy for the guy because he puts in his training. You can see he puts in the work. And the evolution of his character has just been phenomenal. And I hope nothing but the best for him going forward in 2018. And hopefully he wins this United States Championship tournament. I would love to see that because keeping him in the upper card of SmackDown is good. Believe me, it's good. He gets a lot of crap, but believe me, fans, he will rise to the occasion again, and hopefully he gets another run with the WWE title. But for right now, Jinder Mahal is proving that he belongs in the upper card. And talking about things that belong and don't belong, Jason Jordan as Kurt Angle's illegitimate bastard son. Wow, that came out of nowhere as well. I don't know what to think about that. Hopefully the payoff, I don't even know what the payoff is. You got to create new stars like I've been saying this entire episode. But, we'll see. I mean, Chad Gable, when American Alpha was a thing and Chad Gable and Jason Jordan were a team, I guess you could kind of buy them off both as Kurt Angle's sons. But we'll see where it goes. I mean, it's just, I love it when he gets the Heat, Jason Jordan, and he plays that soft kind of when he calls Kurt Angle dad and stuff. Oh, I just hate it because he's not gonna earn his spot. He's already tag team champion now with Seth Rollins, which I don't understand, but we'll see. It's part of the show. It's part of the storytelling. Jason, I would have preferred Chad Gable. I think he's probably got a stronger character. I don't know, but he's doing his own thing now with Sheldon Benjamin and American Alpha 2.0. But Jason Jordan being Kurt Angle's son, hopefully the payoff is huge for this angle. I don't know. I would like to see it. Maybe their match. Maybe they end up in a match at Mania. I don't know. But that would be interesting for Jason Jordan to have a big spot on the card. Like I've been saying, you got to create new stars. So maybe that's the payoff for Jason Jordan. One thing I want to touch base on that happened this year in 2017 outside of WWE that I think is going to be a big deal. Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkin fame buying the NWA and restarting it from scratch. If you follow them on YouTube and the Twitter sphere and their Instagram, follow it. It's kind of grassroots, starting off small, but with a big thinking, the bigger picture in mind. And I think that'll be good for wrestling. The resurgence and the return of NWA to global dominance. I think Corgan can do it. I like watching the 10 Pounds of Gold on YouTube, their show that they got going to promote the initial stars and storylines. I think you guys should try it out if you haven't already watched it. So give the NWA a chance. I think they're going to be some legit. I think they're going to go back to being the number 2 organization really in wrestling for North America at least. So pay attention to them. Follow Corgan and follow the NWA because I think there's going to be a lot of good things coming out of there in the new year, in 2018. And with that, another highlight for me would be the return of the Starrcade event by WWE and the War Games match. I love it both. I wish Starrcade would have been a bigger deal. I mean, that was WCW and the NWA's version of WrestleMania, so it would have been nice for them to treat it as such. You don't have to obviously make it a big deal like WrestleMania, but it should have been on a bigger scale, available on the network at least. It was just a common house show labeled as Starrcade. That's cool, whatever. They brought it back. Hopefully it becomes an annual event that we can all watch again on the network. So hopefully they continue with that. And the War Games match, it was entertaining. Undisputed Era gets the win. I loved seeing the return of the 2 rings side by side. So inside the cage. I've always been a fan of the War Games match, and I'm glad they brought it back this year in NXT. Maybe we'll see a WWE version of it. Hopefully, we just keep seeing more more returns of events like that. I mean, why not bring back the Great American Bash and older WCW events that they had, Super Brawl? Why not just keep it going? They have their own network. Like you can start labeling every house show and putting it on the network and do it that way. We're in our last minute here before the time limit is up. I just want to touch base on the Undertaker's possible last match was, I think, my highlight of the year. What a legend, what a career. One of my favorites, probably the greatest gimmick of all time. His last match with Roman Reigns, probably not his best work, but the way it ended is the poetic, him putting his gear in the middle of the ring and walking up the ramp and putting his fist up in the air. Fantastic way to go out. There's been rumblings of him coming back for Mania again in New Orleans. Hopefully, I don't know how I feel about that, but he's The Undertaker. He can do what he wants, but what a way to go out. Thank you guys for listening. Please like, follow, and share the podcast. I'm trying to make it grow. Happy New Year to everyone, and hopefully 2018's got a lot of entertaining moments for us to talk about. Thanks for listening, and see you